Okay, let's dive into this. Today, we are unpacking a truly fascinating story about legacy, massive scale, and, well, constant evolution. We're looking at a company that didn't just participate in a market, they basically created the whole thing. And more importantly, they've managed to hold on to a staggering level of dominance in an industry that is, honestly, notoriously cutthroat. I'm talking about Maruti Suzuki. So, how does a legacy automaker not just survive a massive wave of global competitors and digital disruption, but absolutely thrive? Let's figure it out.
To really wrap your head around the scale we're talking about, you only need to look at one single jaw-dropping number: 50%. For over 2 decades, Maruti Suzuki has commanded roughly half of the entire Indian passenger vehicle market. Think about that. In a landscape completely flooded with global titans, Honda, Hyundai, Toyota, Tata, one single company has kept its grip on half the pie. That isn't just success, that is systemic market dominance. But you don't hold that kind of ground by accident.
To figure out exactly how they pull this off, we've broken down their strategy into 5 core pillars in this explainer. We'll look at their foundation as the undisputed market leader, their pricing and massive distribution moats, their smart hybrid technology, how they build fierce customer loyalty, and finally their Phygital retail revolution. All right, let's get into it.
Starting with pillar number 1, the undisputed market leader. To understand where they are today, we really need a quick look at how they built their kingdom in the first place.
The Maruti story is essentially the story of the Indian automobile revolution. They incorporated back in 1981 and then completely changed the nation in 1983 with the Maruti 800. This was India's first truly affordable mass-market car. I mean, the Prime Minister at the time literally handed over the keys to the very first customer. But here's the thing. They didn't just rest on their 1980s laurels. Fast forward to 2015, and they were reinventing themselves with these sleek, digitally inspired Nexus showrooms. Then by 2017, they rolled out the Arena paperless showrooms. They totally evolved from just selling hardware to providing a modernized, tech-driven retail experience.
Now, what's really interesting here is how brilliantly diversified their product line actually is today. If you thought they were just making tiny entry-level cars, well, look at the recent data. While compact cars do make up a massive 41.6%, utility vehicles, so your larger SUVs and multi-purpose vehicles, are right on their heels at 37.7%, followed by vans at 7.3%, mini cars at 5.3%, and others making up the remaining 8.1%. They have effectively blanketed the entire market. Whether you're a first-time buyer wanting an Alto or a large family looking for a Brezza or an Ertiga, Maruti Suzuki has a highly targeted, efficiently priced vehicle waiting for you.
Moving on to pillar number 2, pricing and massive distribution. Because, let's be real, you can have a great product lineup, but if the economics don't work, and if you can't actually reach the buyer, you lose.
So, what's the quietest but honestly most powerful secret to their pricing strategy? Maruti Suzuki operates as a practically zero-debt company. Just let that sink in for a second. The automotive industry is incredibly capital-intensive. Building factories, sourcing steel, researching new engines, it literally costs billions. Most automakers carry these massive debt loads. And the interest on that debt? Well, it just gets baked into the sticker price of the car you buy. But because Maruti Suzuki is financially rock solid, they don't have to pass those financing costs onto the consumer. This lets them fiercely undercut the competition while still keeping their margins super healthy. And, crucially, this financial freedom lets them build out a massive physical footprint.
Because once they've priced the car perfectly, they actually have to deliver it, right? And service it. And this right here is their true competitive moat. We are talking over 3,000 service workshops spread across almost 1,400 towns and cities. They literally have an army, 2,500 sales executives dedicated purely to rural markets. Basically, a Maruti service center is practically easier to find than a bad cup of coffee. They've created this reality where, even if you are stuck out on some remote highway, help or a genuine spare part is never too far away. This massive, honestly unreplicable physical distribution network promises buyers a level of peace of mind that absolutely no new entrant can realistically match overnight.
All right, pillar number 3, smart hybrid technology explained. The world is obviously going green, and consumer preferences are heavily shifting toward eco-friendly, highly efficient engines. Let's see how Maruti Suzuki is answering that call.
They've introduced something they call smart hybrid technology, and the absolute heart of this system is the ISG, or Integrated Starter Generator. Let's demystify this a bit. In a normal car, an alternator really just charges the battery. But the ISG, it's this brilliant piece of engineering that completely replaces the conventional alternator. Paired with a unique dual battery setup, so one standard lead-acid and one lithium-ion, the ISG actually acts as a motor that directly helps turn the engine. It lightens the mechanical load, which means, you guessed it, the engine burns significantly less fuel.
Let's walk through exactly how this cyclical process works when you're actually out on the road. Step 1. When you brake or decelerate, the ISG captures that kinetic energy. Normally, that energy is just wasted as heat, right? Step 2. It instantly stores that captured energy into the dual battery system. Then, step 3. When you step on the gas to accelerate, the ISG uses that stored electricity to provide torque assist. It's literally helping the gas engine push the car forward, saving you gas. And finally, step 4. When you stop at a red light, the system automatically shuts the engine off completely to save fuel. Then it uses that stored battery power to instantly and silently restart it the millisecond you press the clutch. It's an incredibly smart, highly efficient closed-loop system.
So, engineering gets them in the door, but how do you keep them coming back? That brings us to pillar number 4, building fierce customer loyalty.
The Maruti Suzuki Rewards program is brilliantly designed as this highly addictive leveling up journey. Just notice how these benefits scale. You start out as a basic member earning a 1% accrual rate and a 500-point referral bonus. But then as you move up through silver and gold all the way to the platinum tier, you're earning a massive 5% back and 1,000 points for referrals. Plus, those points are valid for a full 10 years at the platinum level. By extending point validity to an entire decade, they are actively incentivizing a lifetime of brand devotion. You aren't just buying a car, you're essentially building a 10-year investment in their ecosystem. And they make it incredibly easy to stay in that ecosystem. These points aren't just for buying your next car. You can redeem them on everyday touchpoints, routine vehicle servicing, purchasing an extended warranty, decking out your new ride with genuine car accessories, or even locking in a maintenance cost plan. It acts as a perfect closed-loop economy. Basically, every time you spend money maintaining your current car, you're earning discounts on your future expenses, which keeps you firmly locked into the Maruti Suzuki family.
But what happens when the very nature of buying a car completely changes? That leads us to our final point, pillar 5, the Phygital retail revolution.
Their Senior Executive Director of Marketing and Sales, Shashank Srivastava, summed up their mindset perfectly. He noted that automobiles for a very long time will remain phygital rather than pure digital, because most consumers still want to visit the showroom. See, while a lot of modern startups are pushing for a 100% direct-to-consumer, fully online model, Maruti Suzuki made a very deliberate strategic choice here. They recognize that buying a car is a highly involved, super emotional purchase. You want to smell the interior, grip the steering wheel, actually feel the suspension. So they totally rejected the pure digital route in favor of a blended physical plus digital approach. You can see exactly why this pivot was so necessary when we compare the old era with the new reality. Traditionally, buying a car meant physically visiting like 4 different dealerships over a weekend, usually driven by some newspaper ad, and sitting at a desk to figure out offline financing. But the pandemic accelerated a massive behavioral shift. Today, a staggering 95% of all their customers start their search online. Nearly 40% of all actual inquiries are now entirely digital, driven by programmatic ad buying. The consumer is doing all the heavy lifting, researching specs, checking financing, comparing models right on their phone before they ever even step foot outside their house. The absolutely crucial point here is the ratio. Out of the 26 distinct touchpoints in a consumer's journey to buying a car, Maruti Suzuki has successfully digitized 24 of them. From that very first Google search, to configuring the vehicle's exact colors on their website, to sorting out the financing and insurance, all the way to tracking loyalty points on the Suzuki Connect app, almost the entire life cycle is now seamless and completely online.
Which leaves only 2 steps that still actually require you to physically show up. Number 1, the physical test drive, because like we talked about, you still really need to feel the car on the road. And number 2, the final vehicle delivery. You know, that magical moment when they actually hand you the keys.
To seamlessly bridge this gap between those 24 digital steps and the 2 offline ones, they completely retrofitted their massive real estate footprint. They now have over 1,200 digitally enabled showrooms. So when you finally walk through those doors for your test drive, the dealer isn't starting from scratch. Thanks to their connected data management systems, the dealer already knows exactly which models you've been looking at online, what your financing needs are, and what your preferences are. The physical space becomes simply an extension of the digital app, making your experience highly personalized. So, this brings us to the overarching question of this whole explainer. Can massive traditional legacy hardware brands, companies born in the era of print ads and physical ledgers, actually survive, let alone thrive, in the modern, hyper-connected digital age? It's a huge challenge, and honestly, it's one that has toppled a lot of giants across various industries.
And the answer, as illustrated brilliantly by this automaker, is a resounding yes, but for sure, only by mastering the phygital realm. See, Maruti Suzuki didn't abandon their legendary physical distribution network, but they didn't stubbornly ignore the internet either. Instead, they fused their absolute greatest offline strength, accessibility and scale, with a relentlessly data-driven digital infrastructure. They are quite literally a masterclass in how a car company from the 1980s continues to completely dominate the 2020s. But as a whole new wave of electric-only startups flood the market with 100% digital models, the ultimate question remains, will a phygital moat be enough to protect their 50% crown for the next decade? Thank you for joining me on this explainer. Keep asking questions, keep learning, and I'll catch you on the next one.